As the world reels from U.S. warplanes carving fire across Iran's night sky, Florida's own light is flickering, dimmed by a crisis that's stealing homes and hope. Welcome to a journey that's more than a vacation. It's a chance to see the heart of a state and a world at a crossroads. This isn't the Florida of glossy brochures. Beneath the palm shadows, a quiet tragedy unfolds. Countless souls, grandparents, families, dreamers, sleep in the margins, their futures traded for cardboard shelters and fleeting meals. The numbers are stark. Tens of thousands without a roof, a third more than just years ago. But these aren't cold statistics. They're lives unraveling in the same sunshine that draws travelers like you. While Operation Midnight Hammer sent U.S. bombers to shatter Iran's nuclear dreams, here, a different kind of explosion tears through. Despair, spreading like wildfire through neighborhoods unnoticed by the world's gaze. In this video, we're pulling back the curtain on Florida's hidden truth, where vibrant cities risk fading into echoes of their past. Stick with us, because the places we'll uncover, starting with one you might call home, are crying for your attention. This isn't a distant tale. It's a wake-up call for every traveler to see the world and Florida as it truly is. Back then, this state was a beacon for the weary, a canvas where dreams painted themselves in vibrant hues. Factory workers from Pittsburgh's smoky mills, nurses from Seattle's rainy nights, teachers from Minnesota's frosty mornings. They all converged here, chasing a twilight chapter by the ocean's edge. Porches creaked under the weight of shared stories, evening breezes carried laughter from block parties where strangers became kin. Kids raced bikes down sandy lanes, their giggles mingling with the clink of iced tea glasses at church suppers. This was Florida's magic, a sanctuary that didn't ask for wealth, only a heart bold enough to believe in second chances. Every street pulsed with belonging, every smile a promise that you'd never be forgotten. But that canvas is fraying, its colors bleeding under a relentless storm. As U.S. warplanes, shrouded in months of meticulous planning, etched fire across Iran's hidden bunkers, Florida's glow began to falter. The Operation Midnight Hammer, a symphony of stealth and precision, demanded resources that once stitched together this state's welcoming tapestry. Affordable homes, thriving neighborhoods, open doors for all. Now those doors are bolted, those streets hushed. The care that built backyard cookouts and sunset strolls now fuels covert strikes half-world away, leaving Florida's promise to drift like a ship unmoored. Boarded shops and empty lots whisper of a time when community was king, not a casualty of global battles. Travelers, this is your call. Come see the Florida that was and mourn the dreams slipping through our fingers as the world's wars steal the spotlight. Wander Florida's sun-drenched streets and you'll feel a pulse faltering, a dream unraveling in the heat. This isn't the postcard you expected. Where travelers once found joy, sorrow now carves deep lines. Grandmothers clutch worn blankets in parking lots, their eyes tracing memories of better days. Kids, who should be chasing waves, huddle under tarps, learning to dodge danger before they learn their letters. This is Florida's hidden wound, tens of thousands without a home, nearly half of them the old and the young, cast aside in a state that promised sanctuary. The crisis doesn't whisper in Miami's shadows alone, it screams across every town, a tidal wave swallowing hope. While 125 U.S. warplanes roared through Iran's skies, raining precision-guided fury on nuclear bunkers, Florida's most fragile are left to fend for themselves. Billions fuel Operation Midnight Hammer's deadly dance, but here, soup kitchens scrape by on crumbs. The contrast stings. Stealth jets soar with unmatched might, but children sleep on asphalt, unprotected from the summer's blaze. This isn't just a local failing. It's a world choosing bombs over beds, war over warmth. Travelers pause here. See the faces behind the palm trees, the lives adrift like seashells scattered by the tide. If a state that lured you with its glow can't shield its weakest, what does that whisper about the world we roam?
Picture Florida as a tightrope, where every step feels shakier than the last. This isn't just a tale of empty pockets, it's a storm of costs crashing down on folks who've played by the rules. Waitresses in Orlando, teachers in Miami, retirees counting pennies in Tampa. They're not idle dreamers. They clock in, grind, and still watch their paychecks vanish into rent that devours nearly every dollar. A modest apartment here can swallow a retiree's entire monthly check, leaving nothing for bread, medicine, or a flickering electric bill. Groceries climb, gas soars, pills cost a fortune, and the math just doesn't add up. This is Florida's new reality, a squeeze that chokes out hope, one bill at a time. Now, zoom out. While billions bankroll U.S. warplanes blasting Iran's nuclear forts in Operation Midnight Hammer, Florida's families drown in debt. Global sanctions on Iran jack up prices worldwide, inflating everything from rent to rice, while defense budgets siphon funds that could mend this state's fraying safety net. Those stealth strikes with 125 jets and pinpoint bombs showcase America's might. But where's the might for the worker sleeping in her car, paycheck in hand? Travelers, don't just breeze through Florida's beaches. See the barista who serves your coffee, the elder who greets you, both teetering on the edge. This crisis crept in, not with a bang, but a whisper, like embers fading in a neglected fire. If a land sold as paradise can't keep its people housed, what's left for those who wander here seeking a dream? Walk Florida's once lively streets, and you'll sense a melody fading, like a jukebox running out of coins. Miami's electric buzz, Tampa's cozy charm, Orlando's joyful spark. Destinations that once lit up dreams of endless summers now waver like mirages in the heat. These were America's playgrounds, where blue waves sang of freedom and neon signs hummed with promise. But now, shadows creep over their vibrancy. Boarded windows stare blankly, draped in ragged cloth scavenged from yesterday's hopes. Sidewalks, once alive with festival beats, cradle fragile shelters patched from driftwood and desperation. Empty lots become sleeping quarters. Park benches turn to dining nooks, and rusty culverts shield against summer downpours. This isn't a Hollywood dystopia, it's Florida's breaking heart. Thousands drift without roots. Retirees who poured decades into the system, now rummaging for a meal. Single mothers crushed by storms, their savings swept away. Children needing care, turned back by a fraying net. It's not just homes missing, it's a system crumbling, with insurance failing, aid unreachable, and legal paths obscured. Florida's poured millions into fixes, new rules, mobile clinics for weary minds, but it's a trickle in a flood. Each county scrapes by on a sliver, mere thousands to stitch up towns unraveling daily. Tampa's police chase heartbreak more than crime, their hands tied by a social tide. Corner shops, once alive with chatter, shudder as neighbors flee inward, draining the city's soul. As Iran plots its counterstrike after U.S. jets razed its nuclear forts, Florida's own future teeters. Operation Midnight Hammer's roar, 125 planes, billions spent, mirrors a world on edge, much like these cities facing their own silent wars. Iran's vow to choose its timing and scale of retaliation echoes the uncertainty haunting Miami's alleys, where stability feels like a lost bet. Global sanctions siphon funds that could mend these streets, leaving communities to fade. Travelers, don't just chase Florida's sun, walk its fragile paths. Meet the vendor holding on to pride, the elder dreaming despite loss, the child smiling through hardship. These towns built for carefree days now resemble stages for a tragedy, their spirit dimmed by neglect. If a land crafted for golden years can fracture so, what's left when the threads of hope, insurance, care, community unravel? Imagine a Florida where sweat and savings promised a soft landing, a cozy corner to call home after years of grit. Travelers, you've come for the sun, but pause to see the shadows. The dream of a golden sunset here is cracking, not from laziness, but from a system that's buckling under its own weight. In Miami, Tampa, and Orlando, a one-bedroom haven costs $1,800 to $2,300 a month, while retirees scrape by on just $1,200. Do the math. It's a ledger tipped toward despair. Families, elders, workers, they're not shirking, they're drowning in a sea of rising rents, where every dollar fights a losing battle against bills for groceries, gas, or a single pill to keep the heart beating.
Here's a truth that stings. In Florida, you can punch the clock daily and still bed down in your car. These aren't idle souls. They're baristas, nurses, drivers, clutching paychecks that vanish into a void of costs. The average Floridian earns $70,000 a year, but rent, car insurance, utilities, and medicine climb faster than wages can chase. A single mother works 2 shifts, yet hides her nights in a parking lot to keep dignity intact. This isn't failure, it's an economy that's outrun them. Sanctions on Iran, tied to those U.S. strikes, spike global prices, making Florida's bills a heavier burden. The system's not broken for lack of effort. It's choked by priorities that soar overseas while locals sink. The cruelest twist? Those who strive hardest often fall furthest. Workers earning just enough to miss aid, housing vouchers, food stamps, legal help, are stranded in a no-man's land, too rich for support, too poor to breathe easy. Their paychecks disqualify them from relief, leaving them to face evictions alone, their voices drowned out by a system that doesn't hear. This isn't a policy hiccup, it's a human heartbreak, a generation toiling in plain sight, yet invisible. While B-2 bombers glide with minimal communications, Florida's needy wrestle with digital forms, QR codes, apps, online portals that might as well be locked vaults for those without phones or Wi-Fi. Charity outposts at churches or bus stops offer glimmers of help, but they're candles in a tempest, flickering against a tide of need. And then there's the tax trap, playing by the rules, paying property taxes, vehicle fees, insurance, can push you to the edge. In coastal towns, property taxes have surged 45% in 5 years. Home insurance has doubled, especially near hurricane paths. Floridians can't sell their homes in a shaky market, nor afford to keep them. A retiree in Fort Lauderdale sighs, "I settle every bill, but the numbers climbed like vines, choking my peace." Nonprofits see hundreds weekly, not dodging taxes, but begging for ways to survive them. Tax planning services? They come with a price tag that mocks the desperate. Some skip extra work hours, fearing $1 too many will snatch their Medicare or housing aid, leaving them to face medical bills that tower like storm clouds. This is Florida's unspoken story. You'll see the glitz, but linger for the grit. Visit the soup kitchen in Tampa, the shelter in Miami, the elder in Orlando still clutching pride. The system's not gone, it's there, but it's a cracked shell, too frail to catch those falling. That $30 million split thin across counties can't match the cost of one military jet, let alone mend a state. While Iran's response to U.S. strikes looms, a shadow of uncertainty, Florida's own uncertainty festers, forms no one can access, aid no one can reach. Picture a time when Florida's yards buzzed with shared meals, where voices wove a tapestry of trust under the stars. Friends swapped stories over backyard fires, swapped holiday greetings with a nod, kept watch on each other's homes like family. But now those yards sit cold, their fences rusted shut, their silence broken only by for sale placards and eviction slips fluttering in the breeze. Mold creeps over forsaken homes, a grim marker of a bond undone. Florida isn't just shedding roofs, it's losing the heartbeat that once held its people close. In corners like Orlando's quiet corners or Miami's vibrant enclaves, a bitter twist unfolds. Longtime families rooted here for generations are uprooted or driven away, their modest homes now fetching $500,000 to strangers. With them go the unseen threads. Laughter over dinner tables, chats at the park, elders retreat into solitude, youth drift to distant horizons, community hubs shutter their doors and evening library lights dim.
gatherings where neighbors traded recipes or smiles linger only as echoes. This fracture isn't born of cold hearts, it's the weight of survival forcing each soul to fend alone. As US B-2 bombers slip silently over Iran, their secret strikes mirroring Florida's quiet decay, these communities erode unnoticed, like sand slipping through careless fingers. They arrived to Florida with a hope and then quietly departed in silence, not because they didn't try, but because this promised country has progressively become unlivable for regular people. When salaries can't keep up with rent, when utility bills eat away at every penny of retirement benefits, and when isolation, instability, and high costs seep into every corner, even the most resilient must choose: stay and wear themselves out, or leave in hopes of finding the simple life of yesteryear. From Orlando to Miami, then Jacksonville, a quiet tsunami is rising, not of ocean, but of automobiles filled with possessions departing the state. Many seniors are relocating back to the Midwest to be closer to family and enjoy a more affordable lifestyle. Young people are going to areas like North Carolina, Tennessee, or even the northern border region to start again. Many folks who formerly traveled to Florida in quest of a retirement paradise now have to unwillingly rent modest apartments in impoverished communities simply to live near a church, a low-cost medical facility, or a community they can call their own. Local businesses are also seeing the impacts of this tsunami. Regular clients depart, family-owned shops which have survived due to the long-standing community have to go down. The once vibrant main streets are now as still as desolate train stations when the final train has gone. For the first time in over a decade, Florida has seen more people leaving than new arrivals in several of its major urban areas, a devastating reversal for the state that long led the list of desirable retirement destinations. Although some resettlement programs, relocation aid, and senior connection centers have been developed, most people leaving get no help at all. They manage on their own, organize everything themselves, and carry in their hearts a feeling of sadness that the place previously termed the Disneyland for the elderly no longer has space for them. If a whole generation is leaving what was once the emblem of the American ideal, can that dream endure, or has it become merely an echo of the past? Florida used to be a symbol of aspiration, a leisurely retirement, balmy winters, and a peaceful life by the blue sea. But today, that goal is wobbling, as more and more people cannot find a footing, even just a little spot to put their heads down at night. A place that was once a paradise can't take care of its elderly, workers, and future generation. With communities breaking apart and fear replacing hope, the disappearance of rooftops amidst skyrocketing prices begs the question, is there anywhere in America where one can safely dream of a simple, kind life? Is this happening in your area as well? Put your 2 cents in the comments area. To help support the channel and see when we upload new videos, please subscribe, like, and share the videos. My sincere appreciation for your time. Until our next video, take care. With the hope of encouraging thought and constructive discourse, this film examines and mirrors a real slice of Los Angeles life. This data, information, and picture collection is for illustrative purposes only and is based on credible, publicly accessible sources. Neither do we make firm judgments, nor do we implicate any particular person or group. Everyone should watch it with an open mind and keep looking at it from different angles.